What's up, Con?
What's going on?
Nothing much. We're just waiting for Mike to come back up. But we live though.
That's good. Is my boy stepping there?
No, he didn't come in yet. But like I said, we live. But how's your day been going? I'm just doing
Um,
something to pass some time away until
I
your
hear
your guest is on.
you. Everything's going good. How about you?
Oh, nothing. Just up here in this Canada wildfire air. Up here in the
Oh
north.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, here goes Mike.
You already know, Mike. Mike's my man. You already know. We're just waiting on Stephen. He said he was coming on. Send him the link. He should be on.
Okay.
But
So, Mike, how you
y'all
doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Looking forward to tonight's show if he shows up. But if not, you and I can do the damn thing anyway.
Sure, absolutely.
But he
So
said he was
much
coming on.
go on.
He's out in LA, so it might be a different time frame.
Right. So it's 5 o'clock over there in LA. Shoot the gap. What y'all think about Game 3? I know we always talk about basketball, but
Ooh. Okay, we can go there. Miami, they didn't come correct, obviously, and they had a bunch of defensive lapses and the fact that they couldn't shoot at all. And that guy in the middle, that guy, the Joker, ooh boy, he is something else. Wow.
It was surprising they came out so flat.
Yeah.
Oh, he's here. He's on, y'all. I'm about to bring him up, okay?
All right, I'll see you.
Cool. There he is. My man is in the building. My dog. What's going on, bro?
Not much over here at school. Enjoying our JV football practice right now. Just jumping on this call with you guys. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, solid. I'm at our football practice with our JV team. Just getting them acclimated to all the things that we're installing during this off season.
Well, you know how you and I roll. So I'm gonna keep for people who do not know. This man was a beast, and he had a great career. My rival, Wayham, but we won't talk about that. But he went to Wayham, and anyway, he was a great athlete at Wayham. I think he played 3 sports. You played 3 sports? Anyway, let me let the viewers know about my man. Here we go. Cooper, as a freshman, won the Maine's Roger Ellis Rookie of the Year Award his freshman in 1999. As a junior, Cooper earned Atlantic 10 Co-Defensive Player of the Year. During his senior year, Cooper racked up Atlantic 10 Conference Defensive Player of the Year in 2002. The George H. Bolger Low Award from the Gridiron Club of Greater Boston as a top defensive football player in New England. 2002 Associated Press NCAA Division A1 Football All-American. He was also an American Football Coach Network All-American as well. Mike, this dude was, I don't know if you remember him. Do you remember him though?
I remember him as a pro. I didn't know, sort of the connection to Southeastern Mass at all. I didn't know that.
I guess we got a bad connection. But anyway, hey, you there, Mike?
I'm here, yes. Hey, Steven.
Are we back? Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we are, yes.
I think Steve is having some issues.
We got some technical difficulties again.
He got to come back in the stream.
It's live shows, man. It happens. It happens.
What's going on, Cool? There's my man. What's going on, Steph?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
How's the connection?
Not too good right now, bro. But
Is the connection better?
we're gonna try to do the damn thing anyway. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was just running off, Steph. I was running off your accolades, my brother. I was running down all the things that you did. You was a damn beast, my brother. And what people don't know, you could play
My
D1.
connection is I can't hear you guys.
You can't hear me? Damn.
Yeah, I think he's having some issues where he is.
Anyway, I am the calm man. I'll make this work as much as I can. Anyway, I got my man Cool in the building and my man Mike in the building. Hopefully Steph comes on. Anyway, fellas, how y'all doing?
I'm
Cool, can you hear me?
How are you? Yeah, I'm
Hey.
good. How are you?
I know you're very happy about your Denver Nuggets. Let's talk about that, and once Steph comes on, we can go back. How you?
So, a lot of people that are fans have decided that
We gotta get this straight.
we played an amazing game. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Can you hear me,
I
Conrad?
can. I think.
Hey,
I
Mike,
think
this is all your fault.
I'll say that. Well, Steven's back. So
Anyway,
refer to the big
I'm
dog.
gonna kick it. I'm gonna keep it real. I was really surprised the way Miami came out last night. I figured they would be a little bit more enthusiastic the way they played. Obviously, we found out that
I think Khan is having issues again.
Steven,
But,
can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. But Steven,
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Okay, so until Mike comes back, just tell everybody about what you're doing now. I know you said you're coaching with the JV. Just explain a little bit what you're doing now after the NFL.
Well, what I'm doing right now, I'm coaching at St. Augustine High School here in San Diego, California. It's one of the private Catholic schools here. It's an all-boys school. I wanted a great opportunity for my son, and this type of curriculum and style of school is what I wanted for my kid and the kids that I've coached. So I decided to come over here to coach with this great staff and try to build this program.
All right, that's definitely a good give back to the kids, especially in the NFL. Just talk about a little bit about your NFL career. I know you played with the Chargers. Just explain your experience with the game and um, how you became to be coaching and how you want to give back.
Well, I had an opportunity to play college ball at the University of Maine, and I guess I did a good job to get an opportunity to play as a free agent for the San Diego Chargers. So during my time in college, I was able to become a two-time All-American during my junior and senior year, and I had a lot of success at the linebacker position throughout my college career, and got the opportunity to come out here to San Diego to get an opportunity as a free agent to try to make the team. So being under the helm of Marty Schottenheimer at the time, God rest his soul, I got an opportunity to go out there and play special teams and just show that I was a blue-collar kind of kid from Wareham, Massachusetts, and would do anything to sacrifice my body for the team, no matter if it was special teams, offense, defense, practice team, whatever it was. So I was just happy to just get the opportunity and live a dream that I set out for myself as an adolescent, being back home from Wareham. So overall, the biggest thing about playing for the San Diego Chargers, being elected a captain, having guys like Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates, and LaDainian Tomlinson vote for a guy from Wareham, Massachusetts that came into the free agent to be one of the leaders of the team. That was one of my biggest accomplishments, I feel like, in the NFL level.
How was it? How was it like going from Wareham, Massachusetts to up to Bangor, Maine, and then down to San Diego? What was that like?
It was a culture shock, but it was something that I always dreamt of, to fly into San Diego and to see all these palm trees and the beautiful Pacific Ocean. Anybody that's been to San Diego understands what I'm talking about. So to get that opportunity to come from Maine, especially with all those trees and all those deers and moose that I had an opportunity to see, to come out here and just be around this beach and all these palm trees and great weather, it was a dream come true. So I was just happy to get the opportunity to get out here, but at the same time get out to live a dream.
What's it like? What was it like playing with Phillip Rivers? Is he really the trash talker everybody says he is?
Phillip Rivers is definitely the biggest trash talker in the NFL, but one thing he doesn't do is curse. A lot of people think he's talking a lot of junk, but being disrespectful as he's doing it. All he's doing is having fun. He's bickering back and forth. It's just like being at a family barbecue playing dominoes or playing spades. Everybody's being really emotional, but trying to enjoy the moment. And that's what he does. He's having fun by playing the game of football and then talking junk at the same time. He's talking junk to us in practice all the time to where we get after it. But at the end of the day, his linemen got to deal with us as deep defensive guys, and no one can touch Phillip, so he doesn't mind talking junk.
Now let me jump in.
I was about to say, Con, you back?
All right, good.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta let the viewers know a little bit something about you, my man. Mike and Koo, this guy, right? I did a fundraiser for like 13 years at the New Bedford Boys and Girls Club, and I had the best of the best talent. He knows what I'm talking about. And we're waiting for the BABC, Mike. And so they came late. So the South Coast team was doing layups and everything. This dude broke the damn rim. Y'all heard? Hold up. Hold up. Now, Mike, at the old rec gym, he broke that rim. That's how strong this dude is. And I'm going to tell you something about this guy. He is a humble. He had just played in NFL. And I worked in the prison. I used to bring outside teams in to come play. And can I bring Coop? I said, of course. And Coop put on a show. You would, hey, bro, by the way. But anyway, Coop, I mean, y'all one of the very few people from the area who made NFL. What was your experience playing in the NFL?
It was a dream come true, like I was saying a little while ago. It's something that I set out. My mom always tells me, I told her at the age of 11 that I wanted to play basketball or football. And so every single day, whenever it was, I was always trying to put in the work in order to get to my goal. And that was get to college, and then get an opportunity to play in the NFL. But at the end of the day, there was a lot of people that helped me along the way. All my high school coaches, all my youth coaches, the community of Wareham, the community in New Bedford. I was raised by a lot of people in the community. That's what I love about back home that I tell everybody. The thing about back home is if you need food, you need money, you need clothes on your back, you need a ride, there's always somebody willing to help. And that's what I love about back home. So Coach Bajoli, Coach Frazier, Coach Franklin, the Houtman family, all my New Bedford buddies, Sam Acker, Marcus Houtman, Isaiah, all those guys play an integral part in my success because at the end of the day, the people you surround yourself with, it goes a long way. I could have been around a lot of knuckleheads back home, but being around those group of guys, we pushed each other athletically and academically. But more importantly, we had each other's back socially. And we made sure we had each other's back to do positive things in this world, as you guys know with Marcus doing what he does back home and everybody else.
So I'm going to go back to Wareham for a second. So which Bajoli did you play for? Did you play for the dad or did you play for the son?
I played for Dad, Jim Bajoli. It was his last year, my senior year.
Okay.
I remember him coming to my middle school to watch me play basketball when I was getting recruited by Avon Old Farms out in Connecticut as an 8th grader. But I really wanted to play for the Wareham Vikings, play for Coach Bajoli in the Wareham program, and that's what I did.
Yeah, Kevin and I were teammates on some of which was somewhat looking like the AAU stuff back then, back in the day.
Yes.
So Kevin and I had a pretty good relationship, and I knew the dad a little bit. Those are nice memories.
Yeah, I got an opportunity to see Coach Bajoli when I went home last. I'm gonna be coming home in the next couple of weeks to go home and enjoy my mom's birthday. My brother got a little celebration dance, and I'm also gonna go up to the University of Maine and go talk to the football program. So I know when I get home, I like to go check in with all my coaches and people that's helped me along the way and just say hi and see how they're doing, just because they've helped mold me and who I am today.
Yeah, that's nice.
So Steven, somebody's got to be the one to do it right. Unfortunately, I guess it's going to be me. So for those who may not know, talk to them about the situation that happened with you in 2002. I don't believe that you were part of it. I saw the story when it happened, and you didn't seem like a kind of guy, that would be part of that. But you were in a car with a teammate, and they had some steroids there, and everything that kind of happened with that.
Yeah, well, we was on our way home during a Christmas break or spring break. It was one of the two, and it was right after the season going home, and we were just driving home on the way back to Massachusetts. He was an individual driving the car, and we got pulled over. We got pulled over during a speed trap, and we had illegal substances in the car. Ended up getting caught with that, similar to another situation on campus to where I had to take the rap for it and had to go in front of a judge, but ended up pleading not guilty and got a misdemeanor charge on that a month before the draft, to where that really altered my draft stock to where I had a 3rd to 4th round grade, to where I could have been drafted, and really one of the goals that was said was hearing my name on that TV screen and making my family proud. But it was a very embarrassing moment because of the actions of what I put myself into. And that's something that I always try to preach to kids. There's always choices, decisions, and consequences. You always got to make sure when you make that choice, you got to decide whether you're going to go this path or that way. And then there's always consequences on whatever decision that you make. So the decision that I made, I was riding the wrong car with the wrong individual, and ended up getting caught up with some stuff that cost me a lot of money. But at the same time, all it did for me was make me hungrier, made me stronger, and just had to learn from my experience. And that's what I try to do today with the way I coach.
Yeah, man, it's amazing because after the incident, there was never anything with you, no video stories, anything with you as a pro. So clearly that was one of those things that just happened to be something that you got caught up into. But I think it's great when people have a misstep, a slip up, and then they come back and they show, hey, this is who I really am, not by words but by actions, about staying out of things and about being someone like yourself who's going on to be a mentor for other kids, a coach, and that sort of thing, man. So that's why I wanted people to hear it, because it was an incident, you learned from it, but you were not continually involved in things. You were able to have a great career. And also props to you for being on one team, because once you hit 2000, man, staying on one team for your entire career, that's not an easy task.
Yes, sir. That's one of the hardest things to do, just because in the NFL it's big business, and everybody understands that number 2.7 years is the life expectancy of professional athletes. And why? The why is because once you get to year 3, now that the new collective bargaining agreement went on, now the NFL has to pay you for the rest of your life and your benefits. And we all understand benefits. Mm-hmm. We all come from different walks of life, but we all know whether you're working for 20 years, whether you're working for 30 years to get to the age 55 and start seeing some of that pension money, what they don't want you to do is, if you're not one of those guys and you're not producing, you're not going to have that opportunity. So before you get to that year 3, they want to cut you, so they don't have to worry about paying that benefits package. And a lot of people don't understand that it's really big business. To where I was just hoping to make a team, and once I made that team, the first year I never came off the active roster. I was always an active roster guy. I was always suited up for every single game. I was never a practice squad player, and it was all because of the hard work and the dedication. And I had a sacrifice because of that instance that you brought up. When I came to San Diego, well, while everybody else was partying and enjoying the city life, all I was trying to do is stay in my playbook, stay in the classroom, and making sure I was the first one in, last guy out, showing these coaches that I really wanted it, because I was coached up from my agent, I was coached up from other former players that played in the league, and I had a big support system on things to do and what not to do. And I try to listen to that, and that's what really helped me with my success.
Yeah, that's definitely important, man. I'm glad you had that support system. Um, off topic a little bit, but there is a player who definitely needs a support system in the NBA right now, and I do hope that he gets one. And that would be John Morant. I just think that if he gets the right people around him, just to kind of, hey man, these are not things you have to do. I think he's a great talent. I don't think that he's a person that's really living a life that they're trying to say that he's living by some of the things that's happened. Sometimes you get in unfortunate situations, and if you don't have the right people around you, it's kind of hard. And that's in any walk of life. That's whether you're an athlete, that's whether you're a regular guy, that's whether you're a professional, it's whether you're just working 9 to 5, whatever. So I hope that he is able to turn everything around and get the right group of people around him to help him make better decisions.
Yeah, is it that situation is tough, but I just think that's society right now. A lot of
Yeah.
kids want to follow instead of lead.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we all know right from wrong. I know a lot of people come from different walks of life where they might not have that strong household or a lot of discipline within that household, but we all have teachers, we all have mentors, there are positive people in everybody's lives, to where all you got to
Mm-hmm.
do is attract yourself to those people and listen to those words. But we all go through certain instances and experiences that we have to learn from, and that's just something that he has to deal with. It sucks that it happened a month later, the same exact thing, but him in his mind having a gun license, being in a state that the gun's legal and he can play around with it because he has a license to carry, is just not a good look at what's going on in society today. And him being
Right.
such a high profile athlete, but at the same time, people keep forgetting he's a young man with a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? We see how his father is on the sidelines and how boisterous he is, and he's living the dream with his son, to where he has to hone in on making sure that that kid maximizes his opportunity and maximizes the dollar with the money he's about to make. Because with that being said, he lost a lot of endorsements, he lost a lot of support. Now he has to gain all that trust and honesty back in order to generate that revenue and generate that fan base. Because a lot of people now, every arena he goes into, he's going to be getting teased about gun this, shoot that, murder this, to where,
Mm-hmm.
is it fair for him? No, but at the end of the day, it's something that he brought upon himself, and it's just ammo for people to use when he walks into the other cities when he goes to compete.
Yeah, it's great to hear that from you as another athlete, with a different perspective from just guys who, may have been like maybe a college athlete, maybe a high school athlete, and don't understand the pressures of being, like a professional player, what comes with it and all those things. So yeah, it's definitely great to hear, your thoughts on it.
Yeah, as a professional athlete, there's a lot of vices. Whether it's you have so much money, you can do whatever you want. You have a lot of people rolling out the red carpet. You got women chasing you. You got people knowing all of your business because it's always online. The biggest
Yeah.
thing I could tell anybody that gets to that situation is, like we talked about earlier, have a really great support system that understands respect and honesty. But then at the same time, sit your butt in the house and focus on the task at hand in that career. Because at the end of the day, say you play for 20 years and you get done like LeBron James at the age of 40 something, with the type of money you have and the type of condition, the health that you keep yourself in, you got a long life to live. So enjoy it then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're done and people like write you off because you're old and you're retired, at the end of the day, that's when you can go get it done and have a good time. But at the same time, it's going to happen. We're going to hear about these things every single year just because it is the nature of the beast. But hopefully it's nothing detrimental to any individual or to any team.
I definitely feel that, man. You got anything, Michael?
I do. So I'm just going to follow up on the leadership issue, the topic you brought up. I think that's a good point, because if you're not used to leading and you're just kind of that guy that's just going to kind of drift around, and you're the leader as far as you have a lot of talent and people are looking at you to lead on the court or on the field, but you just have that gap where, again, following up on the point you made about having a support system, that support system, again, if it's not a foundational thing that's actually created when you're a young guy or a young person, you're not going to have it later. It's just not going to be one of those things that you can kind of just develop as you go. You need to have that, and again, following up on this, you need to actually hold on to that, and hopefully that grows with you. It's very difficult, I think, when you don't have that and trying to create it on the fly. And I think a lot more work has to go into trying to develop you, and as you start to mature and what you want to do. So I think that's an excellent point you're making, as far as not really having those leadership qualities and really understanding that responsibility you have.
Yeah, being a leader, you got to be able to be a good teammate first and foremost. You got to have patience and lead by example, like you just talked about. And that's one of the things that I hold close to my heart. Is at every single level I ever played at, I was always elected a captain and a leader of the team. And it's something that I love to do because I'll sacrifice for the team. It's not about me being on the front page of the paper all the time or scoring the most points or getting the most tackles. The main objective is winning for everybody as a collective group, whether it's basketball with the 5 guys on the court and the guys on the bench, or it's 11 guys on the football field and the rest of the team. It's about the group. That's why I love team sports. I could have played tennis. I could have played pool. That's not something that I wanted to do. I like to interact with people and I like to work with people just so we can all have great memories. And then at the end of the day, like now when I go home, I'll see a lot of my high school teammates to where we're going to talk about the 1995 Super Bowl championship and or whatever we did in basketball, or those hard games that we lost. They're just great memories. And a lot of those guys trusted in me as a leader to lead the team because I did it by example. But at the same time, I was a great teammate.
Yeah, I do believe that something gets lost in that conversation, right? I just think that's something that it's just not there on a consistent basis with athletes across the board. And I think as sports, basketball, I'll lean on that for a minute. With AAU, you start to have that separation where you have the elites playing, and you really lose that team focus as far as what that looks like coming forward. And I think that's a real loss for those particular athletes.
Yes, sir. It is. It is. At the end of the day, every single sport has something to teach you for life. And I learned so much from playing sports, from coaches, mentors, my teammates, working with people, communication, trusting people, sacrificing, all those things, time management, teamwork. All those things correlate with life when you get into the work world. You know what I mean? You got to be able to communicate. You got to be able to talk. You got to be able to express yourself. So I just love everything about group sports. I love everything about athletics. That's why I love to coach. That's why I love to train. And that's why I love to be around these kids, just give them as much information as possible to help them with life lessons.
What are you finding there? How do those kids respond now to that message, right? How do they react?
Well, they're excited because they know I'm a no BS type of coach. They know I'm not lying to them. They know I'm going to be honest and upfront with them, and they buy in. When I'm speaking to them, I always make sure I let them know this is about life lessons, and I try to correlate that to them, because at the end of the day, football is going to end. Then what is next? What is next for you? What is your plan? And I've learned that throughout this journey, coaching with a bunch of great coaches. What is your plan? Each and every day when you wake up, do you have a plan, or are you just freelancing? Everybody should have something to do. If you're not doing something, there's something to learn. And all you got to do is press a button nowadays. Just go on Google and ask a question, you get an answer.
Right.
So it's like the way we grew up, we had pencils and notepads. Now these kids got these phones and they can get any answer, any information they want. You got damn apps that write kids' papers for them now. It's ridiculous. So there's no excuses for, I feel like, this generation to where there's always an opportunity to learn. We had to do due diligence. We had to ask people. We had to go find out. We had to do our own research. Now it's just our generation compared to this day's generation is totally different. But we as adults have to adapt and try to make it as best and as safe as possible for these kids nowadays. Even though it's a lot of nonsense, but those that do listen, we got to try to help them as much as we can to keep growing our communities.
Yeah, you definitely make a good point with that, man. You definitely make a good point with that. So I know Con Man, when he was on earlier, he was talking about you as a basketball player and some of the things that some of the experiences that you guys had together. So we don't have him here to tell the stories with Con Man. So talk to us about some of the your memories with Con, especially in regards to basketball, because we know Con is a
I used to
basketball
always
lover.
go to I used to always go to New Bedford to go play basketball because that was where the best competition was, even though we had a lot of competition where I was from also. But being in that city type environment, blue collar guys that were all about getting after it, talking junk, pushing buttons, it made me to who I am as an individual, as a hard nosed, blue collar, tough guy that tries to make sure I go out there with my chin up, chest out, and I'm confident in anything I do. No matter win, lose, or draw, I'm going to give it everything I got because of those type of atmospheres. And I know David was talking about the little backboards I broke and all that stuff. It wasn't about, yes, I was strong, whatever you call it, but at the end of the day, I played the game so passionately that I feel like those type of incidents happened because of the heart that I put into it. It didn't matter if it was a pickup game. And the funny thing was, the one that he talked about at the church, it was Flea that threw me an alley-oop. And he was on one of the best basketball teams in New Bedford history with Marcus Wills and all those guys before my time. And those were like legends to me growing up, to where I used to travel from Wareham, sit in the crowd and watch those guys play because those were my heroes. Those are the guys that I wanted to be like. I used to pick up the Standard Times with Mr. Buddy all the time, writing those great articles. And I would be on the front page like, I want to be like Marcus. He's scoring all these points. I see Chris Herron out in Durfee putting up big numbers. Donnelly, all these guys that are from our area doing big things. I wanted to be like that. Why can't I do it? And I'm very close on how they moved and how they did things. And I try to emulate those type of things and put into my own bag as an athlete. And it truly helped me along the way. And I always show respect to those guys. That's why I mention them, because they all played an integral part in my life. It wasn't just about me. I watched many people come before me, whether I talked to them or not. I watched everything they did, and then I try to emulate what the positive things that they did also.
So cool. This goes way back to where I grew up, where Michael grew up. So all these names I know. I didn't know Steven because Steven was a little bit after me from coming through athletically. But all those guys he mentioned were great players in southeastern Massachusetts. And Chris Herron goes on to play major college basketball. Marcus, I believe, went up to, I think, didn't he go to Maine too? I think he went up to Maine to play.
Yes, he did. He was him and Derek Carter were one of the main reasons why I went to Maine.
So there's legendary competition between the two cities, between Fall River, Massachusetts and New Bedford, Massachusetts, and those two high schools. Just great rivalries for years prior to me, right? So I'm the old guy in this conversation. But
you had to get there early.
You sure you did
for the JV game in order to get to the gym.
Yeah. And so I could go on and on about this, and I don't want to take up all the oxygen on this particular topic, but those stories, I know those stories well, and I know those players pretty well too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was a bunch of great players. Yeah. Who was it? Rudy, Marcus, Jeff Clark, Dwayne Pena, all those guys. I'm telling you, like, I used to love going to New Bedford to play against the Killer Bees during the men's league. Yeah. All that stuff. I remember all that stuff. And that's what I'm telling you, that's what molded me to who I was, because all those guys were tough players in basketball, tough players in baseball, football. I wanted to be like, and I appreciate those guys because they made me who I am today.
So, Stephen, what was the moment for you that you decided that you wanted football to be your career versus basketball or another sport?
Well, it happened. I was supposed to go to Bryant College or either the U.S. Naval Academy. So I had both recruiters on the phone at the same time, and I had to make a decision by midnight. And what I did was, me as an individual, I said, okay, there's about 12 guys on an NBA roster with only 2 point guards. Then there's 53 active guys on the football roster with a lot of different opportunities as special teams players. I could play corner, safety, or linebacker. So there was more opportunity. So I just kind of did a process of elimination and did percentages on what's my best bet. And that's where it came down to. That's where I made the decision to go to the U.S. Naval Academy to be an option quarterback. And then I left the U.S. Naval Academy after 8 months, and that's when I went to the University of Maine, which was my alma mater for my high school coach, David Harrison. He's the one that got me that opportunity to go there with Coach Jack Cosgrove. And I went up there during the spring, and one of the outside linebackers got injured, so they moved me down to the outside linebacker. So if that guy never got injured, who knows where I would have been at, because they wanted me as a backup quarterback behind Mickey Fine from Barnstable. He was at Maine also.
Mm-hmm.
So it was honestly a lot of luck and a lot of God's work that put me in the situation I'm in now, and the opportunities I had in the past, because with guys getting injured, certain coaches being on staff, certain schemes playing into my strengths, all those things play a part in every individual success, because there's a lot of guys that you guys know from the community that was top tier talent, but because whether they made a wrong decision, they went to the wrong program, they got under the wrong coach, all those things play a part in your success as an individual, because you got people that are calling plays, you got people that are scheduling certain stuff, there are certain people that are running your practices. So that all goes into your success as an individual, because you need those people to succeed. So it's just, I was lucky to have those type of people in my life to get to where I was, and that's why I always pay those respects.
So I get a quick question. Yeah. Sorry, cool.
Are you good?
Who was recruiting you from Bryant?
I forget. It was so long ago. I forget. They were recruiting me and Chris Rose at the time.
So I'm thinking I think that was probably Timmy O'Shea that was the head coach there at that time.
I'm not sure. It's been well over 20 years, 24, 23 years.
So just for some information for you. So I played at Bryant.
In
the early 80s.
It was either Bryant or the Naval Academy, and the reason why I went to the Naval Academy honestly was because my mom and dad also was looking at the curriculum and graduating as an officer and having your life pretty much situated when you're done graduating from that school. So I understood the why, but at the same time, I really wanted to play football and see where I could go with it. And that's why I left the Naval Academy, was because I wanted to bet on myself. Everybody was saying stay. But I said, no, I really want to gamble on myself to see what I could do with this sport of football.
So looking at your NBA career, man, what were some of your the guys that kind of helped you out, the guys that you kind of molded your game after, once you decided to lock in on football, and then when you got to the league?
It was I would definitely say guys like Junior Seau, rest in peace. He took me under his wing, even though he went to New England when I came to San Diego. Guys like Donnie Edwards, a Pro Bowl linebacker when I came in here, and then Randall Godfrey, a guy that got signed here while I was playing special teams from Seattle. I had a great linebacker core. I had great linebacker coaches, but those guys that I mentioned as players, the Donnie Edwards, the Randall Godfreys, and Junior Seaus, they was coaching me up with life, understanding like the women, the money, the vices in the clubs, all those type of things they were trying to coach me up on. Even though I did make mistakes along that way, those were the guys that were trying to keep me away from it and made sure I had the proper plan while I was here in San Diego playing in the NFL.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I always like to hear the stories of different players who motivated who. So to flip that around a different way, what were some of your most intense players that you played with, offense or defense? Of course, Phillip Rivers. We know that.
Most intense. Phillip, definitely. But the number one guy most intense was Sean Merriman. He was a straight animal, to where I don't know if you guys remember that heat versus Priest Holmes. When he hit Priest Holmes, I really thought he took his life. When I seen Priest Holmes laying on the ground, his eyes rolled back in his head, the way Sean hit him, it was I'd never seen anything like it. But at the same time, the way he went about the game, it was like he was in character. That's why everybody called him Lights Out. They didn't even call him by his first name. It was like a WWE wrestler. Once he turned that switch on, he turned into a straight monster. So it was always great to play alongside him, and at the same time, helping him do what he had to do in the pass game, because he never knew what he was doing in the pass game. So I had to make sure I lined him up and made sure he was successful there too.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What would you say is your hardest opponent was across from you on the offensive side? Who you played with so far? Like,
Are you saying individual or team?
Yeah, like team, individual, it don't matter. Like,
So
tough.
team wise was definitely the Patriots with with Tom Brady and the rest of the crew of Bill Belichick. And then individual was Adrian Peterson when he ran for 300 yards on us when we went to Minnesota. So I know for a fact I'll always be on a highlight film. So hey, at least my kids will be able to see number 54 with Cooper on the back, even though it's the back of me chasing Adrian Peterson down the sideline.
Like, what was your best game, like, stat wise? Like, you like just the game I
That
played my
wise,
heart out and soul out.
I always played well versus the Indianapolis Colts because I'm a big stickler on the student of the game, understanding the integral parts of understanding scheme and understanding what the opponent's going to do. And that's what Peyton Manning does. Peyton Manning's a very smart individual that dials in and tries to put you in certain situations to make you feel uncomfortable and or put you in the wrong situations so he could be successful by audibling. But playing against like the Indianapolis coach, I had like 19 to 21 tackles, like 2 tackle for loss and like even a pick in that game. And it was one of the playoff games. It was one of the biggest games in my career and kind of helped put me on the map playing against Peyton Manning on the primetime stage.
Oh man, so, like seeing these guys that you played against, and just looking at it now, like when you first got there, was you saying, man, like I'm actually in the NFL with these guys? Like, how did it make you feel? Like, I know
I'm glad you asked that question. So it goes back to this. The first time I walked into the NFL locker room, I prided myself on being the first one in, but there was one guy in there before me, and I'll get to his name in a sec, but this is just the backstory behind it. So I walk into the locker room and I take the corner and I see this big muscular guy. I'm talking about a big muscular dude, probably about 265 pounds. And I look up at the name placard on his locker and it's number 89. And I'm like, what? That big wide receiver is David Boston. And this dude was built like a G.I. Joe character to where he's 260 pounds running a 4.4 40 playing wide receiver. So for me, seeing that guy as the first individual, I called home so fast and I said, my God, wide receivers are so big. I don't even know what the rest of these guys are going to look like, but I'm looking at a wide receiver now, 6'3", 6'4", 260 pounds that can run a 4.4 40. So for me, I wasn't starstruck or anything. It's just you got to understand I came from a 1AA school in Maine to where we're not playing against those 350 pounds, 360 pound linemen. I'm seeing guys that size across the board when I'm lining up on scout team versus our first offensive line, Antonio Finoni, Chris Dillman, a bunch of other plethora of athletes that I had to go up against that were all pros and pro bowlers. But at the end of the day, all I did was put my head down and said, I'm going to work. I punched in the clock and I said, it's time to do what I know how to do. And that's just play hard and do the best that I can.
Was there any specific schemes or specific teams that you had a lot of trouble with when you first got into the league?
Honestly, and I'm not even trying to be cocky or anything. No, just because I dialed into my playbook. I dialed into watching film. Nobody now, like as a coach, even watches more film than me, even though I have a good grasp of the game and high school playbooks are really small. I pride myself on outworking people, no matter what. No matter if it's physically, no matter if it's mentally. If we're talking junk, I'm talking more junk. It is what it is. It's all about it's just all about putting the best foot forward. Like if you're gonna shortchange stuff, understand why opportunities pass you by, and that doesn't work for me. No excuses.
Okay, I can feel that. I can definitely feel that, man.
So, what quarterback was hardest to sack back then?
To sack, Ben Roethlisberger. Well, no, sorry. It was Michael Vick first because he was so fast, but then Ben Roethlisberger because Ben Roethlisberger was so big. People don't understand how strong he was. Being 6'6" and then having a strong lower body, it was hard to take him down. So he was one of those guys you get a hold of and you're holding on for dear life, but you can't take him down. So it's kind of embarrassing being a linebacker and a quarterback still on his feet.
Yeah, Ben was a big dude.
Yes, he was very big. They're all big. Peyton's big, even though his head's about 2 feet long. Tom Brady's big. They're all big.
Now, I know you mentioned Adrian Peterson earlier, but besides him, what were some other running backs that kind of gave you guys trouble?
Other running backs, Priest Holmes was always great competition. Jerome Bettis was a load. Marshawn Lynch was a beast. Mm-hmm. But when you're watching LT every single day in practice and going against Lorenzo Neal, one of the top fullbacks of all time, they get you ready for those type of scenarios. So we were lucky to have those two guys on our team and getting that look each and every day. It got us ready to see those top-notch guys at running back position.
Who's that leader in the locker room? Either you or somebody on the offensive side. Who was always getting the locker room ready for these games?
Honestly, it was me. I was the guy. I was the rah-rah guy. I was always running around, talking crazy stuff, chest bumping people, having Jamal Williams smacking my face. I'm smacking his face. Whatever it was, I was trying to get my teammates going, and I was doing everything in my power to sacrifice myself for the betterment of the team, no matter what.
What was the most successful team you played for when you were with San Diego? And
it was definitely the 14-2 team of Marty Schottenheimer's last year before he got let go. And then Norv came in and we went 13-3, and then we went 12-4. So there was like a 3-year window, if you guys ever remember, where we was probably one of the most talented teams in the NFL. We had Vincent Jackson, we had LT, we had 14 Pro Bowlers on one team at one time, and we couldn't get the job done because the Patriots either got in our way or the Jets at one time got in our way. We missed 2 field goals, and then we had an interception drop, but there was a bunch of other things that people only remember those things. I know I probably missed a tackle. I know I probably made a mistake that might have prolonged a drive or something. So when people look at those certain situations, they always blame one individual. When it comes down to a collective team, it is what it is. We never point the finger at anybody. Yes, we were pissed, but at the end of the day, we understand no one's trying to make a mistake in any type of competition.
So when did you know it was time to stop playing football?
It wasn't up to me. The San Diego Chargers let me go after I tore my bicep. I was 32 years old at the time. Being a 9-year veteran in the league, that's where the business comes in. It counts against the salary cap. So they want to go younger and bring in those guys that have a lower base salary, so it doesn't count against their luxury taxes and all those things. So when, like, a lot of people don't understand that when they see all these numbers in the newspaper or they hear these type of commentators talk about money and like the nuances of it, there's so many moving parts that come into that.
And it's only getting more complicated as time goes on. If you're a player, you're an agent trying to get through that, that's just going to get more and more complicated across sports. It's just not football. Every sport is getting more and more complicated and trying to figure out what a roster looks like, what a draft room looks like as far as going forward and who you're going to develop. So it doesn't get any easier for an athlete trying to understand all of that.
Yes, it's big business. It's big business. You guys are making billions and billions of dollars. And what people don't understand is, yeah, we're human beings, but we're really just flesh. We're just making people money. No matter what we're doing, we're putting our bodies in harm's way for somebody else's bottom line to keep increasing. Their bodies aren't getting broken down. They get to sit up in suites, drink their wine, eat their cheese and crackers while we're playing through all our injuries, blood, sweat, and tears, no matter what, in order to make them money. But we are getting compensated too. No one's complaining. I'll do it over 1,000,000 times. No matter what, I'll go play semi-pro football just to play football if I had to, just because I love the sport so much.
Now, do you have? Oh, go ahead, Keith.
So I know everybody's first thing when they get in the NFL, they want to buy their mama a house. What was the first thing you bought with your NFL check?
The first thing I bought with my NFL check, I couldn't buy anything with my NFL check because it was minimum. I was a minimum player. You got to understand, coming to California, the tax bracket's ridiculous. The cost of living was ridiculous. So I didn't really buy anything big. Even in my NFL career, I never bought a car over $100,000 ever. Yes, I bought jewelry. Yes, I did spend money. I did all those things. But when I had opportunity, when I was comfortable and I could buy my mother something, I bought her a brand new Range Rover, sent it home. Told her, I said, listen, if I smell cigarette smoke in this Range Rover, I'm taking it back. So it made her stop. It made her quit smoking cigarettes. So it all worked out.
That's cool, man. So I was wondering, do you have anybody on your team that you're coaching now that kind of has that same drive that you see that you had?
Yes, there's multiple kids. Why? I've been coaching some of these kids since they were 5 years old. So I got to put it in. I was one of those coaches when they were 5, 6 years old. We're working out twice a week for free, and we're going to mold these individuals to be great student athletes. The school I'm at now is one of the best academic institutions in San Diego. And that's why I chose to be here, because I want my old child to get this type of curriculum, but also be around this network. We all know as adults, it's about who you know, not what you know. So
Mm-hmm.
you want to make sure you're around successful people, just in case one day when this all doesn't work out, you have a group of friends that has this stuff together, to where if you need to lean on them, you can. And at the end of the day, that's what I want for these kids that I coach. And at the same time, I know they're going to put on at Friday nights in football, but more importantly, I want them to get their grades so they're ready for college.
Yeah, that's very big. A lot of people don't, necessarily realize that. I know Key has a son that plays football. I have a daughter that plays soccer, both in high school. So it's very important to make sure that they're around the right people, the right coaches, in the right situations.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You want to always make sure these kids are around the right people, because they can get influenced really easily, like we talked about earlier about being followers. So it's just like I
Hmm.
tell anybody, like I look at my circle of friends now. A lot of them still stay in New Bedford, but they're all successful. Whether it's in real estate, whether it's in banking, whether it's in training, whatever it is, they're doing
Yeah,
a hell of a job. And that's I feel like I said, we all cheered each other on to put ourselves in great situations, and we're all flourishing from that.
yeah, that's great, man. That's everybody can't say that, so it's great to hear that you have a circle like that. I know if Conman was here, Conman was saying you're doing the D thing.
So what we do have a show on the Sports Empire Network called The New Breed, where we interview different kids, whether it's high school level, AAU level, things like that, because we want to give them a platform because they don't have nobody to come out and watch them or anything. Like we just want them to get that out there. Is there anything you would say to these kids that somebody told them, "Oh, you can't do this"? Like, what do you tell some? What do you say to the kids to say you can do it?
So
Don't
so
don't don't doubt the
so
haters.
No, when I'm talking to kids, I'm just talking to myself. That's the easiest way for me to coach. I say exactly what coaches said to me, and or what I've learned along the way. And all I tell them is this: you're in control of your own destiny by your choices, decisions, and consequences. All you have to do, and like I tell these kids now, get good grades. If you're not getting recruited highly, you get to pick the school you want to go to because you're getting the good grades. They're going to give you academic scholarships. What these kids don't understand is if you're subpar academically, or you're not that great athletically, then now it's process of elimination. Who's gonna pick me?
Hmm.
No, you pick the school and let the school pick you. I want all my kids to be bosses. I tell them all the time, why work for somebody if you don't have to? All you have to do is make sure when you turn 18, you take care of your credit. You graduate from college in 4 to 5 years. You and your 4 to 5 friends all got great credit. Go to the bank, take out a credit line, and you all invest in yourselves. Be your own bosses. If you can help it, there's nothing wrong with working for anybody. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, if you want to dictate your life, you're in control if you're making the right decisions. But you have to apply yourself. You have to learn. You got to do due diligence on whatever you want to do. But it's all up to them. It's all about having a strong mindset too, and being consistent. You got to be consistent. You can't do it one day, then take a couple of days off. You got to grind. You really got to grind. You got to outwork the next man because somebody else is trying to do it.
So how do you feel, as a former athlete, former college athlete, about NIL? Do you think that that's something that's good, something that's bad, or
it
where do you fall in that discussion?
I feel it. I feel it's both. Why? Everybody's making money off the kids, right? So why shouldn't the
Hmm.
kids be compensated? But at the same time, now these parents and these kids is getting really ugly at the youth levels and in the middle school, high school levels because money's involved. Now these parents that aren't in good situations and their kids are top athletes or subpar athletes. Everybody thinks little Johnny is Michael Jordan, is the next LaDainian Tomlinson, the next Tom Brady. It doesn't work that way, and it messes up the experience for the kid. You have parents getting on coaches, you have kids being disrespectful and not doing the right things. So at the end of the day, I feel like it's good and bad. I feel like kids should get compensated because they're the ones putting people in the crowds to come watch them play and or watch the televisions, and for these big organizations, excuse me, these big programs to get these TV deals or whatever it is. So I'm on both sides of the fence where it's good and bad because money does bring out ugly in a lot of people, but at the same time, um, I feel like these kids should get compensated because people are making money off their back.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it, man. You put it greatly because that is completely true.
Yeah, it's just my opinion from what I've seen and what I've dealt with. NIL is really big out here in California. One of my former buddies that did a lot of bodyguarding for me, DJ Ukulele's dad, Dave, we call him Big Dave. He has 2 kids that are #1 in the country. He has the #1 defensive player in Mateo Ukulele that's going to Oregon, and now his son just transferred from Clemson and is going
Mm-hmm.
to Oregon State. So he's been a guy that I've been communicating with on a lot of different things, and he started his own business with the NIL because his son DJ was one of the first guys to start receiving the NIL. So with that being said, we're working with him just to learn the nuances of it and the goods and the bads, the pros and the cons. So if it does come our way with these kids that we're coaching, we want to make sure we're prepared to put them in the right situation so they don't get taken advantage of, because we all know these agents and these lawyers will do anything to get some money.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about the complexities of the salary cap. Now you have complexities that are going back to high school kids and middle school kids who don't have any idea what's really going on around them, except that they're a commodity all of a sudden at a very, very young age.
Yes, sir, 100%. All it is you're a product. You're a product. They're going to market you however they see fit in order for them to make money off of you. So at the end of the day, like I said, we're just a piece of meat. In their eyes, I know we're all human beings, but at the end of the day, all they care about is going to the bank and looking at the bottom line. How much money we make this year? How much we make this quarter? How much we make this third? So people just got to understand it's business.
Yeah, it's business on every level. It's very, very true.
All right, so we got a couple more minutes, left before we got to end the show. But there's anybody in NFL right now that you're watching, following, still, talking to this day?
Honestly, no. I barely even know NFL players nowadays. I'm so busy with high school football. I run my own youth football organization out here, so I don't get to watch college football because I'm at the field all day. So I really don't have no time. I put so much time into this that I'm so burnt out that when I get to my Sundays, I want it for myself and my family. I don't really want to sit on the couch and watch football because I'm already watching so much film during the week.
All right, Mike and Cool, y'all got anything to say before we get on out of here? Or any questions?
I just want to say real quick, man, Stephen, I greatly appreciate you, coming on, answering our questions, and just giving a little insight. Man, it's great for everyone to hear from guys who are successful, right? Guys who are doing things in the community, especially as a Black man doing positive things and helping the community. Man, it's great, and definitely applaud you for it, man. Loved you as a player. I've always watched the NFL. I'm an Eagles fan, but I love players from different teams. Those guys who play hard and just feel like the soul of the team and guys that really go out there and give it all. And that's what I saw from you and, other players on your team as well. So I love that. And I was glad to have the conversation with you, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having me on. Tell Mr. Khan, man, thank you again. I know he has bad service. Tell him to get his Wi-Fi up. Tell him stop stealing.
Stephen, it was great meeting you, and it was great having some old school talk with you. So good luck.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll talk to you soon whenever you need me.
Yes, sir. So that was Stephen Cooper, former San Diego Chargers linebacker, and he's now doing great things in San Diego in the community at the school. So we appreciate you coming on. For Mike, the Cool, and the Con, who had connection issues, this is the Sports Corner with the Con Man. We out right here on the Sports Empire Network. We see y'all next week.
Thank you.
All righty.
Good night.